Okay, really quick. Who are you showing up as? Like, what are you thinking right now? Like, how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about life? Are we empowered? Are we disempowered? Who are you who is the version of you that's watching this? And if you don't love it, if it doesn't feel empowering, you can make the executive decision to shift that instantly. And I'll get to all the stuff about how sometimes that feels like impossible, and we'll go into that. But I just want to be clear, there is a part of you who's a boss. There's a part of you who is like the entrepreneur of their own freaking reality. And I don't care if you have a 9-to-5 job and work for someone else. There is an entrepreneur in you. There is an executive. There is a leader that is like, okay, I'm just gonna shift, because I know that this whole thing we're experiencing in the material realm is some format of an illusion, and that my consciousness weaves it and bends it, and that if I can stay in a certain understanding of myself for long enough, I will see that thing show up. I will see the material realm bend to how I understand myself. And here's the good news: if you doubt yourself half the time, if you're oscillating between these versions of yourself, like I'm empowered, I'm disempowered, I'm empowered, I'm disempowered, which feels nuts, which feels maddening, you can still manifest those things. It's just the journey is just more tumultuous, but you can still create all those things as long as you don't give up, as long as you keep going forward, as long as you don't stop working on yourself, working towards your dream. You will get there. It's just, do we want to get there in a feeling empowered and satisfied in our life for most of it, like the majority of it? Or do we want to like live between these two versions of us that are like, feel like opposing forces, feel like a battle within ourselves? I mean, the battle happens when we're in our disempowered self and we're battling it, trying to shift, trying to get out of it. And like, it's interesting because it's not even interesting. It's just quicksand. It's like it's hard. And that's why when I spoke about like, just, there's a part of you who could just like wake up and shift right now, right? Like, this is an illusion. I am mirroring to you. I am a version of you, and you can be whoever you freaking want. You can choose and stay in that understanding and train yourself and discipline and keep coming back and be the freaking executive of your own life. Or you could get so hijacked and then all your attention goes on that thing that feels negative. Oh, it just triggered that thing in my nervous system, and now I'm feeling this. So now I'm gonna go and maybe I should feel this longer. Maybe I should just let myself feel how awful this feels, because I think that's gonna make a detox out. So I'm just gonna stay in this awful feeling that I'm feeling. And then all the thoughts coming in about how it's all awful. And then, an hour later, you're like, well, I guess detoxing it out didn't work. It just brought me deeper into it. And there's this whole like, well, how much should I be feeling things, right? Because if we run away from the thing, then we're disassociating, then we're, and like, so it's just a whole interesting, messy thing, but there's some guidance coming. So first of all, when that aspect of you comes up, let's call it the shadow, your old shadow friend, the version of you who doesn't believe in yourself, and it's filled with fear and thinking all these unpleasant things about oneself. Well, guess what? So there's this thing in Enantiodromata, I think is the word, and I'm just learning about this, so forgive me. It was a concept Carl Jung spoke about, and it's this kind of opposing forces within ourselves, and that so think of politics. Ever notice how you see one president who's elected who's like on one wavelength and they're kind of this, and then the next 4 years later, wherever you live, the next person in power is like the complete opposite of that person who was before them. So this thing we see in the collective, it lives within us. But the interesting thing about you is that, and the cool thing about your shadow, and I want you to bring your shadow out. I'm here to talk to the insecure aspect of you, the one that doesn't feel good enough, the one that doesn't feel, the one that feels shame about their existence. You are so freaking awesome, because guess who you created? You created the favorite part of the person you're embodying. Okay, let me just explain that. So the version of you who feels like, let's just use an example. You got molested, you felt completely disempowered, shame, all those things. You knew such an extreme, okay? That version creates the most empowered version, because there is such a, I can't handle being this version of myself. If you didn't know that, you wouldn't have created another persona who's the empowered, who is literally creating animal apothecary card deck, who is, you know, doing all the awesome things that you love about yourself. If it were not for that version of you that you hate being, let's be real, you probably hate being them, and that's also what keeps them around. So we need to kind of see them for what they are. And we all get this concept of like, the diamonds are where the shadows live, and like we're gonna transmute that awful stuff and make it awesome. But like, for so many of us on our growth path, we're just oscillating. We're just oscillating between dark and light. And there's this other thing, right? Like, the bigger, brighter freaking sun you are, good, have fun with that shadow, because the shadow is massively huge. So how do we kind of toggle between our brightest light version and our shadow version? Well, you create the executive freaking boss entrepreneur version who has to come in, because really you're none of these versions. You're whole, you're all of it. But it's like, this is about kind of honoring, okay, this part of me, I don't like to feel it, but like, I see you. I see that you're actually, you created the best part of me. So that acknowledgement is medicine. If you need to write a letter to this part of you, do it. Like, that in itself is healing. And that part of you is going to be like, oh, thank you. You acknowledged me in a nice way. So now I'm not going to attack you with feeling awful. Like, you're actually giving that part of yourself, like, damn, you are kind of cool, because this part of me that is really, that really excels and all this stuff is because of you. So that honoring, right? And then it's also like, you don't have to be any of these parts. You can choose what part you want to be. And when you need to tell your shadow, like, okay, like, I'm going to have you focus on creativity. I'm taking over. And this is like an executive decision. Like, we're no longer going to align with this kind of concept and understanding of ourselves. And, you know, there's that moment in time, right? The compassion, the feeling it, the getting, drowning in it, seeing the rest of your day through the eyes of it. But like, at some point, like, enough is enough. It is enough is enough. And the executive needs to come in and just be like, this is who we are claiming to be. And I'm going to do everything today in the understanding of what would that version of me choose. Would they do the dishes? Or would they let it go for a night? No, they would freaking do the dishes. Would they do their laundry? Would they use their voice? Would they be stuck in fear about a decision they need to make, not doing anything? Or would they just be like, any decision is better than indecision, and just like, I'm going to make a decision and know that everything is working in your favor. Everything. This is the version that we want to align with. The one who is like, knows with certainty that everything, even those moments in our downtimes, even like all of it, the rejection, everything is leading to this aspect of ourself that we are here to freaking fully stand in for the majority of the time, that is not toggling between all these different facades, but kind of can combine and be whole with all of themselves. And I guess I'm calling that the executive, but that's almost like you're the self out of the self. Like, all right, guys, like we're good. Like, okay, I'm gonna take charge and I'm gonna say how this is all going down. So this also then comes to like, how often are you coming back and just being like in the place of knowing and trusting that everything in your life is happening to get you to this thing that you want to manifest. And let me tell you, my friend, you can manifest things half believing in yourself, probably even less than that, as long as you don't give up. You can manifest all of it. You can be going through the oscillation of I believe, I don't believe, I believe, I don't believe. And there's this idea like you can't really serve two masters. Yeah, guess what? I freaking did. Do you know how much I didn't believe in myself with Animal Apothecary? And then, you know, a part of me apparently did, but I just never freaking gave up. So there is something, even if there is 1% that believes in you, ride that 1%. My 1% then turned into 5%, that turned into 20%, that turned into 30, 50, 70, 80, 100, like all of it. Like this is something, the other thing is we build our confidence, we build trust, okay? It's something that you believe in yourself the more you go for the thing and you learn all these things. So anyways, I just want to honor that shadow, because your shadow is freaking cool, because they created that awesome aspect of you that you love to death. So shine some love on that shadow, that part of you that you give a really hard time to, because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have this really cool part of you. And the other thing is, wake up, remember you're in this is some kind of weird dream reality. It's very real. This is very real. I'm not saying that this isn't real. This is a real experience we are all having, and we're all impacting ourselves and others. But it is also mysterious and mystical and an illusion. And like, remember that. Remember, you are the creator of your own reality and can be anyone you want to be. So get your freaking executive and just be like, okay, this is the choice of who I'm going to be. The other thing is, I want, like, the trust is so important in this. Trusting that everything is always working in your favor, even when it feels like, hell no, seems awful. Trust that everything is working to get you to this manifestation, this aspect of yourself that you've been working on embodying. First of all, we're done working on embodying. It's time to just embody them. It's okay though, it's a learning process. But this trust, Saturday is the I Trust workshop. It's a part of my membership. It would be cool for you to just check out the membership just to see if it's like you're down with it, because I'm going to also be shifting into, I want really like identity shifting. We need to just like the executive, just remember who we are. And I'm going to be this is going to be the focus going forward, is that we're just constantly coming back to remembering who we are, to the identity shift into our most empowered state. And all the info is below. But the workshop, I Trust, it's so cool, guys. Like, we're using our bodies to become a portal, a trust portal. We are using dragonfly and horse to their body movements, their wisdom to shift into transforming into the I freaking am within our body's vortex or toroidal field, this magnetic field that we're creating, that is going to be the foundation of it is trust. And we're jumping into trust, and then we're going through this 9-day challenge of just really sticking with this I know, because we're going to go from trust into I freaking know. Okay, so I want to get a message from that shadow you give a really hard time to, that you hate, who's also like so freaking cool. They're probably a really creative part of you. They're probably just all these awesome things. So we're going to get a message from your shadow. I also want to get a message like what they are really good at creating. And then let's get a message from your executive. You know, it's weird, like in the last couple years, and I don't know if it's typing and or speaking things into the phone. When I write, I'm like missing letters all the time. I'm like, really? Okay, so the executive, and then just take a moment with the executive and just really get clear, hold the vision. And there's going to be 3 things in this vision that you're working towards embodying and or manifesting. So I want you to write down the 3 things. Let me do this with you. Grab your pen or pause and write it in the notes on your phone, because you'll forget which one is which once I start getting into the reading. Okay. Ready? And if you got my last reading, I'm using my newer deck from Japan. See? Japanese. Because I was using the other deck for the last few years, and there's just this feeling of like newness, like new energy, new everything, and there's, look what's at the bottom. Just trust, okay? Just trust. Just freaking trust. Also, the mole is promoting my workshop. Come to the I Trust workshop below. Okay, so message from our shadow. The point I was talking about, like, we're shifting into this new version. Who the executive is like, this is who we're ready to fully be. So it feels like we need a deck with like, that hasn't had the energy of the last 2.5 years. So this is like the 2nd or 3rd reading I've done with it. Message from the shadow. Okay, what our shadow is really good at creating that like is cool. What the executive in us wants to tell us. And then the 3 things that you're embodying or manifesting as that executive. So I'm just putting 3 cards out from each deck. Okay, ready? So cool. Oh, I love this. I love this. Okay, so shadow message, like in your face, my pain is sacred, because this is your shadow being like, look what I turned that darkness into. I turned it into rainbows and diamonds. I don't know how much more I need to even go into that, but like your shadow is like, I'm so freaking sacred because look what I create. Thank you, shadow. Shadow says, just trust. Plugging in the workshop, come to the I Trust workshop, become a portal of trust and jump into your most amazing freaking self. Info below. And you know, the mole, many moles, they can't see well, they can't hear well, they can't smell well. And it's this concept of blind faith. Like, you have to know this thing is going to happen for you. So your shadow is even cheerleading you to have blind faith on this venture towards this thing. Even if you don't see it, just know that it's coming. Just trust and have faith. Just trust it's coming for you because you're almost freaking there. And I think this means you're almost to this next level of yourself who can really stand in their self-authority and who can really kind of stand in this version of themselves who's in this like knowing and in this trust for the majority of the time. This is who you're turning into. And I almost think it's because of whatever your shadow has felt about not trusting and fearing life. It's like I also created the part of you who can trust, because I know how much life has disappointed, life has betrayed you, that your shadow, knowing that, is like, now I'm going to create the exact opposite. I'm going to trust life because I know what it feels like to not. Wow, thank you, shadow. Thank you. That's freaking cool. Man, our shadows are really, they're awesome and we hate on them. Okay, so what your shadow is creating for you is for you to own it. I swear to own and honor my gifts. This is who your shadow is created. The version of you who's like, she's filled with diamonds. Her crown is a diamond. She is so in her self-worth. She is like, she doesn't want for anything. So this version of you, you're not like, I want this thing because it'll mean I'm good enough. I want that marriage. I want that money. I want this level of fame. I want whatever BS. It doesn't even matter because they just know that like they're the hot ticket, that they're the freaking most valuable thing. That is what your shadow is creating. And master manifester, like your shadow, knowing all those things, because this is saying you're going to manifest all those things through like facing your fear, through facing the things that you thought were scary and bad. So it's also through this relationship, because this is about the raven and its relationship with the shadow, which was the spider. It was terrified of it and it kept wanting to create this whole reality, but it couldn't. And then it would run away from spider every time it was, trying to create this thing. Anyways, the spider comes and is like, stop! Raven freezes in fear. And the spider, who was his shadow, who he was scared of, was like, I'm the one who can weave your reality into your existence. It's me. I'm the creative one. Like, if you don't, just like, you got to. So there's this whole thing about you manifesting things through your shadow, through the thing you're scared of. But that is how you become the master manifestors, because it's almost like you have to master your fear. You have to master these things within yourself to then master how to dictate and create your own reality. Your executive, prayer answered. But the thing about this card, it's like, act as if your prayer has been answered. The whole buffalo story is that, centuries ago, different tribes within the Plain Indians peoples some of them would do this buffalo prayer dance, and it was like buffalo was food, it was life, it was source, it was created divots in the ground that held water for them, it was clothes, it was toys, it was, housing, like it was everything. And often certain tribes would do this buffalo prayer dance, which looked like, there would be one person dressed up as buffalo and another tribe member dancing in unison with the person dressed up as buffalo before the hunt, okay? So they're doing this prayer dance that's reenacting already being with buffalo before they get on the field and go to the hunt. Their prayer, their dance was acting as if. Act as if your prayer has been answered. Duh. Of course the executive in us is like, just act like your prayer has been answered. Our executive is like, the gift comes through the discomfort. So this is about this thing, like there's a reason you have to know those parts of yourself that don't believe in you. There's a reason you have to get hijacked by them and go in this cycle for 14 years or 30 years or however long it is, because that length of you kind of dealing with that seemingly negative aspect lends itself to an even more profound and longer positive way that you're gonna start to experience your own reality. So the gift comes through those things, through all your shadows. This is the time to be like, I feel like your executive is saying you're playing both of these at the same time. You're playing the caterpillar and the butterfly, and now it's time to make an executive choice that you're the freaking butterfly. Live as the butterfly. Who cares if you don't see anything? Circumstances don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Be the freaking butterfly. No more time to be the caterpillar. Okay, the first thing you wrote down that you're manifesting. It looks like it's absolutely a win and a good to go as long as you give death to this part of yourself that it's not who you are anymore. It's that caterpillar. There's some old way that you've identified as that you're not this person anymore. And like, you know, there's something with some kind of lie that you've believed about yourself that it's already dead. You've already kind of like, this card for me always feels like you're carrying something dead around, because a scorpion fly comes when, like, is the first on the scene with the cadaver. Like, and then the thing that's dead becomes alive in this new grotesque way with maggots and all this other stuff. So it feels like you have given death to this, but you're dragging this old thing around. Like, you're dragging the cocoon with you as the butterfly. So let it go. This thing is also going to happen. I accept all of myself, right? It's the integration, the shadow, the light, the rainbow, everything we just spoke about, this full kind of acceptance of all these parts of you. The second thing you wrote down, this facing your fear, but understanding it in a different way as light. So whatever that means for you, this isn't about like, oh, I gotta do this scary thing or what. It's not like that. It's about the face your fear is about transforming how you see your fear. Like, it's not going to scare you anymore. So there's something number two, this thing goes deep in you that you want to either manifest or heal or embody. Like, this goes so deep to the core. Like, you have such a wound around this thing, and that the wound has created some story that if you really understood the illusion of this story, like, the key to getting this thing is understanding that whatever story you've created around this that feels limiting or disempowering is the biggest freaking lie, and you don't have to be scared of it. That's the thing with face your fear, is that realizing it's an illusion. And apparently there's just so much change going on within you to already become this version. And I think this means you already are doing this work. Okay, that's cool. You already are doing this work to get number two to happen. That's why it's like, so drink a lot of water, because you're actually already doing it. Thank God, right? Because it feels like, this is a lot of work. But I think you've already been in the process of it. So just drink tons of water, because your body is shifting and changing and morphing, and just like help it. You know, even if you're like 1% dehydrated, your cognitive skills just like lower. So just drink the water. Okay, last but not least, numero tres. I'm just looking at what I wrote down. Okay, you are what you think. Just think you're that thing. Just think you have that thing. Just be that thing. Nourish the thought. Just think you are that thing. Surrender. It's about to get way better. And surrender is like trust. Just like surrender. Just know that it's happening. Like, it's all a part of it, but like own it. Claim it. Claim that identity. Like, be that version who already is number three. Just make the executive decision. Friends, I love you so much. It would be so much fun for you to join on Saturday for the I Trust workshop. If you want to join, but you're busy during the time, the replay will be available. And again, the membership, there's weekly readings, weekly body movements to shift into like more empowered states. And yeah, I'm going to start weaving in more stuff about identity shift, like keeping us in the executive. Ooh. Okay, world peace forever. I freaking love you.